All right, let's jump right in. Here's the thing. If you're a global professional trying to navigate 2026 using a 2024 playbook, you're not just falling behind. You're very likely leaving five figures on the table every single year because of outdated thinking. The world has changed fast, and the old rules, well, they just don't apply anymore. Look at this number, plus $28,000. According to the source, that's the average net gain a professional gets per year just by moving from the UK to the UAE in 2026. And what's wild is that this isn't money you have to work harder for. It's your existing income that simply stops being taken by the government once you strategically change your location. And that really gets to the heart of the issue, doesn't it? The entire Nomad map, as we know it, has been completely redrawn. Relying on old information isn't just a minor oversight, it's an incredibly expensive mistake. What used to be a smart move could now be a serious financial trap. So let's actually take a look at this new map. What we're seeing is a huge shift. Those old hotspots, the places everyone used to recommend for freelancers and remote workers, well, the source calls them tax traps now. And at the exact same time, you've got these brand new high-value hubs opening up that, honestly, weren't even on the radar 24 months ago. To make sense of this new world, we've got to understand a key concept the source brings up: tax weather. Now, this isn't just about how high the tax rate is. It's the whole picture, the entire financial and bureaucratic climate of a country. We're talking taxes, sure, but also the cost of living, and, crucially, how easy it is to actually get things done without being buried in red tape. Okay, so if the upside of moving is so massive, why do so many people just stay put in places with bad tax weather? Well, the source says it boils down to one thing: a fear of bureaucratic friction. We all assume that relocating our life and business is just this impossibly complicated nightmare. But in this new environment, staying put, doing nothing, is often the most expensive choice you can make. And this quote from the source material just nails it. The problem isn't that you're not working hard enough, it's that you're working in the wrong tax weather. You see how that completely reframes everything? The challenge isn't about grinding more hours. It's about putting yourself in a system that actually rewards your effort. It's a strategy problem, not a productivity problem. So let's say you're on board. You know a move is the right call. The big question is, how do you figure out where to go and how to actually pull it off? This right here is where most people get completely stuck. They fall headfirst into what the source calls the complexity trap. And when you fall into that trap, you start paying a hidden fee, a fee the source labels the complexity tax. Now, this isn't a tax you get a bill for, but believe me, it drains your bank account all the same. It's the sum of all the wasted time, the wasted money, and the sheer mental energy you burn trying to stitch together conflicting advice from a dozen different places, all while trying to make sense of it in some chaotic spreadsheet. I mean, think about what the old way actually looks like. You're jumping between countless websites, you're hitting paywalls that want your credit card before they'll give you a single useful piece of info, and you're getting advice from 2024 that's totally useless in 2026. All the while, other platforms are just harvesting your data to give you a vague, unhelpful estimate. It's almost like it's designed to be overwhelming. So, how do we get out of this mess? The solution is to make a fundamental shift, to move away from all that guesswork and toward what the source calls high-fidelity logic. It's really just about using real data, not just vague opinions, to make these massive life decisions. And here's a perfect example of what that looks like. Just look at the updated Beckham Law in Spain. For a professional who qualifies, this one single rule change could mean going from a potential 47% tax rate down to a flat 24%. The result? An average annual saving of over $14,000. This is the kind of game-changing opportunity you only find when you're driven by data. And to find these opportunities over and over again, the source material lays out a kind of strategic toolkit. Think of it as a logical sequence of events. First, you compare tax situations side by side to see the actual hard numbers you'd save. Then, you match that against visa rules to see what's realistically possible for you. And finally, you simulate your global ROI to truly understand what your new financial life would look like. Now, let's zoom in on that last part because it's incredibly powerful. Calculating your global return on investment. This is so much more than just looking at tax percentages. It's about understanding your true financial power once you're on the ground in a new city. See, the whole point of this calculation is to figure out your effective wealth. This is the number that actually matters. It's not how much you make, it's how much you have left after every tax and every living expense is paid. It's your real buying power, the ultimate measure of your financial freedom. This approach gets really interesting when you combine that financial data with quality of life metrics. The source's Nomad City Power Score doesn't just look at money. It lets you compare your effective wealth against things that actually matter day to day, like internet speed and safety. So you might see that Bangkok offers a much higher effective wealth than Lisbon, but you have to weigh that against a different safety profile. It lets you make a decision that's right for you, not just your wallet. Okay, so you've got all this incredible data. Now what? How do you turn a mountain of information into a simple, clear, actionable plan? For this, the source lays out a 3-step framework called the Nomad Launchpad Strategy. And the framework itself is just beautifully logical. Step 1, the eligibility check. Can you even legally get in? It's the most basic question. Step 2, the tax simulation. Find your profit delta. That's the exact, precise dollar amount you'll save. And step 3, the banking strategy. Figure out how to make sure your money can move across borders without friction. And this chart really shows you how those factors stack up. Tax savings are, of course, the biggest piece of the pie at 45%. But look at visa eligibility, a massive 30%. It's a stark reminder that the biggest tax haven in the world is completely useless to you if you can't get a visa to live there. And finally, before you make the leap, there's one last piece of the puzzle, securing your income. The source points out that by using AI to audit your client contracts, to check for loopholes and bad clauses, you can boost your contract security from a pretty vulnerable 65% all the way up to a nearly bulletproof 98%. It's that final step that gives you peace of mind that your new life won't turn into a legal mess. So, if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. The old way of doing things, the guesswork, the anxiety, the messy spreadsheets, it's over. The future of being a global professional is about using smart, integrated tools that give you absolute clarity. And it all comes back to this one simple but really powerful philosophy from the source material: logic over borders. Always. It's about making your choices based on clear data and solid reasoning, not on old habits or emotional resistance. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on, because really, this isn't just some abstract financial puzzle. It's about what you could do, what becomes possible when you optimize your entire life. So really think about it. If your true buying power, your effective wealth, doubled tomorrow, what would you change?